It's 9 a.m. Welcome. My name is Chris Justice. I'm a coordinator with the Digital Learning and Instructional Technology Department here in the district. I've been in the district for 16 and a half years, and I'm excited to be doing this new role here for me. I've been doing this for about 3 years or so now. My job is to support all of you with your digital learning and instructional technology needs. And one of those is to set up Canvas so that we can hit the ground running right next Monday. My goodness, it's coming up. If you're just joining us, I was mentioning here in kind of the pre-session to make sure that you create two categories in Infinite Campus. One will be called formative and the other will be summative. You might also want to weight those categories in Infinite Campus. Now, those weights might be different for each of the school sites out there. For me, when I was a science teacher at Coronado High School, it was 80% summative, 20% formative. Put it into the chat here what your breakdown is if you're aware of it. So type that into the chat. Hey, Holly, I know I cut the hair and I cut the beard. All right, Brenda's got 80-20. All right, well, looks like most of us are 80-20. I actually like 90-10. I kind of feel like that's the right one, but I'm not in charge of anything. So anyway, but 80-20 is pretty good here too. I saw some people were like 50-50, which I don't know, I think that's a little much, but yeah, Jessica, 90-10, I like that one because you've got some high stakes summatives and then, the formatives that all the kids seem to be cheating on anyway. It's really not going to impact their semester grade in the long term. But so but it's enough skin in the game to be able to adjust your grade from a B to an A or an A to a B if students aren't doing their work. Anyway, but yeah, 90-10, 80-20, it looks like most of us are around that. I sent you these instructions that we're looking at on the screen right now. I emailed this to you around 7:30 this morning. So I'm about to take this off. Know that you have those instructions emailed too. All right, makes sense, right? Let me show you my class. I used to teach environmental science, and look how I structured my class. So first of all, oh my gosh, whenever we by we, the district, add new links in the course navigation, they're automatically pushed out here. And I haven't looked at this class in a few years, and there's a bunch of stuff that I'm going to get rid of. I'll show you how to do that once we get going here, but I wanted to point this out. I know that a lot of us will use, it's kind of a holdover from the pandemic, the way that if you're a pandemic Canvas user, what we started to do is we were creating like 20, 40 modules, one per week. And by the end of it, it starts to get like, oh my God, I'm at module 39, week 39 here in December. And it's like, it's a lot because, if you're a student, think about it, you've got to cycle through 40 different weekly modules here to find the work. And oh, by the way, was that stuff from week 17 or week 18? Kids don't know the weeks, right? Come on. So I started thinking, like, I think the better way to organize our Canvas courses is to do it by units or modules. So if you look at this is my semester one class, actually no, semester two class. And so I had, 4 units. I had my semester exam final was a separate module, right? You might be thinking, okay, well, how do you organize this? If I open up unit 8, like, okay, there's not a lot of organization here, right? Here's the thing: as you go through and add stuff to your Canvas class, where I'm looking at here, we'd have all of this stuff by the end of Unit 8, right? So I'm just publishing the new thing as we go along. But the way that I also structured this class here was through announcements, and I did this every morning. I wrote 180 announcements, one per day. And rather than labeling them like, December 20th, 2026, I started thinking, I want to be able to reuse this every single year. So I got rid of the dates because now I have to change the dates, right? If I label everything with today's current date or tomorrow's or the weekly date, then I have to go through and change all of that if I wanted to reuse my class next year. And that's like a lot. And so I started thinking, okay, I looked at my calendar, I try to figure out all the days off we had, the assemblies and all that stuff, and I try to map out how many days it would take me to teach any one of these units. And so then I would create, like, unit 9 took me 14 days. And then I added and created 14 new assignments. And I labeled each of these day 5 of 14. You can see that on the screen for unit 9. And if I open up this one randomly, I had my question of the day that all students actually used a doc to respond to. I think I would probably change this, though. I'd have like a composition notebook system. I think kids still need to write. And so I would probably not make these multiple choice. Instead, I would have them do like short answer. And then, by the way, that composition notebook then becomes the ticket for them to retake their exam later on when the time comes, right? Like, show me your composition notebook. Oh, you haven't been doing anything. Well, go back to all the announcements. You have 14 for unit 9. I want to see answers to all of them, please. Make sure you date and label them all along the way. So I had a question of the day, and then I had the agenda. And these agenda items here, right, they all link to the assignments and the different resources I have in that module. So we have a little bit of structure here, right? What I love about this system here too is that the students are all emailed, unless they've turned off the notification. They're all emailed this announcement in the morning. I schedule them out at 7 in the morning, and boom, they all get it. So those kids that are absent or on the field trip or playing sports, they still know what's going on. What started to happen is that students knew exactly what they had to do in my class to get that A. I gave them that roadmap to success by making everything really apparent and obvious what they should be doing. And then, like, oh, I don't know, when did we do that? Well, literally day 5 of 14 is when we went over, the whatever this is, global climate change. So they stopped having excuses in your class. I didn't know where the handout went. I wasn't there. I didn't get the handout, and I forgot to ask you. It's all on Canvas. So all of my assignments came into Canvas. And what's really cool is that I won't click on the grades here because there's students in this, and I don't want to violate any privacy laws here. But from the student view, let me see if I can, let's click view as students, and then I'll use my sample student, if that makes sense. So we'll click on grades, and what your students can do, so I reveal my grades to my students. And here's the sample student. What they can do is they can start to use this what if feature. Like, what if I did this quiz? Right now it's missing, so I got a 0 out of 6, but how will my grade be impacted if I got a 5 out of 6? So now they can be a little bit more proactive, right? It'll raise it from, what was it before? It was, look up at the top. Yes, oops, 0. So I went from an F, because I don't think the sample student had anything in, all the way up to, boom, somehow an 83.33%, right? So then they can use that what if feature to really figure out exactly what they need to do. Again, that roadmap to success. A lot of my kids, what happens is that they'd start to zero in on an A. So they get like an 89.99%. Oh, if I do one more thing, I'll get that 90%. They knew it. And by the way, they didn't fail a single student. So like I had 150 kids. I did this with my biology class too. For the last 2 years when I was a teacher. And I believe it's because I was using the announcements. I was turned on the grades. All of my grades in Canvas mirrored those in Infinite Campus. So every single assignment came in this way, in the Canvas first, and then was sent to Infinite Campus. And I believe that because I was doing that, I had 0 kids that got an F. Even the kids that normally get an F, they got a D because they did just enough to get what the grade that they wanted to earn, right? And I made it really easy for them to be able to do that. So it's something to think about here as we get into our world here in, what is it, 2026-2027 school year. Rely on Canvas. Use all these little tips and tricks here that I'm going to go over with you guys. And we'll get there, right? If you're interested. Now, this didn't happen overnight for me. I started to work on this every year. So I want you to think about what your system looks like, your version of this. Maybe you're doing exactly what I'm doing. Maybe you're not using announcements because it's too much, right? I think with AI though, think about a gem. If you're familiar with gems in Gemini, you can write a gem that would help you write those announcements for you. Kind of cool, right? I know that's exactly what I would be doing every day, trying to figure out how I can incorporate AI. But anyway, today is not really about AI. Today is about welcome, everybody. We're going to set up our Canvas classes for this school year. Take a look at our agenda. We're going to first off start off by cross-listing our courses. We'll go over those course settings, cleaning up the course navigation. We'll set up assignment groups, sync them, figure out weighting, grade sync. I'll just reference the curriculum hub in case we start to run out of time, but I've got a little copy and pastable syllabus here for you. We'll set up a home page. I'll show you making a module, assign. It's going to be a lot, but like I said, a lot of clicking. I'm probably going to give you a cognitive overload here, but just know that if your brain starts to turn off, I'm recording this session so that you can go back and reference it if you want to pick up where you're like, oh my God, I need to go get some coffee here. We'll talk about accessibility, publishing our course. And then this, again, like way too much here. So right at 10 a.m., 49 minutes left. I'm looking at my clock. In 49 minutes, when we're finished, I figured out this really cool way to use Gemini to create quiz questions that you can then upload into Canvas. I couldn't believe it when it worked. So I don't have to copy and paste the questions into a Canvas quiz. This is going to be really for advanced users, though. So if you're like, what? QTI zip files? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's probably not for you, okay? At least for now, in our journey of Canvas, of embracing this technology. So I'm talking way too much. Let's get into it. Folks, we should cross-list our classes. And the reason why, like classes, like sections. So if you teach 5 sections of biology, rather than navigate and juggle 5 different sections of biology, 5 different individual Canvas courses of it, what you can do is combine all of those sections and run into one, and then run all of your 5 sections out of just one class. So every time you add a new module to that one class, that one cross-listed master class, all of your students in all 5 of your sections would be able to access it. Now, there's reasons why you might not want to cross-list. If you're an elementary teacher, I wouldn't cross-list all of those different sections that showed up in your Canvas class, like your reading and the social studies. It's not really what it's for. What if I was an elementary teacher, by the way, I would probably just use one of those, like the homeroom one, and that would be the master class for all of the kids. But if you're departmental in your elementary school, so maybe you're the math teacher for all of the 5th grade, what you could do is cross-list all of those other teachers' math classes, math sections into your one. And then that kind of brings them into your Canvas class, if that makes sense. And then also there seems to be an integration problem with HMH. So if you're an ELA teacher and you're using the HMH into reading or whatever it is, I guess, what is that, middle school, you're using their curriculum and bringing stuff in to your Canvas classes, those links get broken when you cross-list. So you might want to stay away from that if you're an ELI teacher. But like I said, I had 3 sections of my AP Environmental Science class. I put all of them together and I ran them all out of one class. It's kind of great. In fact, real fast, once you start to cross-list, you can actually use filters. So I don't have any other sections in here right now, but if I'm on the gradebook in Canvas, I can drill down to my different periods here using advanced filters. Here's how I do this. So I want you in your Canvas class, let's do the following. I want you, if you're going to cross-list, I want you to open up all of the like sections together as new tabs. So for me, I've got 3 sections if you're looking at my screen. The one section that I'm going to use as my master class, if we're going to call it that, is going to be my first tab. And then the other subsequent tabs, in my case, just 2 other sections here. These will all be run out of that first master tab, that first master class. Does that make sense? All right, so I'll give you guys a moment to do that. Yeah, Kelly, you might want to uncross list. Talk to your SBT about that, or the Canvas controller has the rights to be able to do that. I don't believe teachers have the rights to do that. Um, and then, yeah, if like students have submitted assignments, there might be a way that you're like losing them. Okay. You'll also not want to decide to cross list 3 weeks from now once the students started to take the quizzes, because those submissions will also be lost. You'll want to do this right at the beginning of semester 1, and then again for your other classes right at the start of semester 2. All right, I've talked enough, given you enough chance to open up all of the like sections here. Let me get out of student view. And what we're going to do from that first tab, the first class that you're going to run all of the other sections out of, let's go to the settings for that class. So on the course navigation, all the way down at the bottom, click on settings. And what we're going to need is that SIS ID number. If you look carefully at my screen here, it's that, what is it, 8 numbers. I don't know how many numbers are in yours, but that's the SIS ID number. It's underneath the time zone above the sub account. What we'll do, you can write it down if you want. I'm just going to select it and copy it. We want to make sure that we copy only the characters, only the digits. Sometimes the system adds an extra space and it doesn't work. You're going to want to look for that. So we only need to do this one time. Then we need the SIS ID number for the one section that you'll run all of the other sections out of. You got it? I've copied mine. Bingo. Vamos. Let's go to the next section. This one's going to just disappear and be run out of our first class. So now we're going to go to the next tab, right? Notice what I'm doing. I'm going to go from the master class to the section that will be cross-listed. What I want to do is go to the settings of that class, please. From the settings, click on sections. Now you might think, oh, I'm going to just paste in the area where it says plus new section. No, this is the trick. This is the thing that we don't get sometimes when we try to do this and remember how to do it. You have to open up the link. Notice that mine is a student aid class, whatever, but that class is going to be like have your name in it. Notice how it's a link. It's underlined, it's blue. Open the link. Click on that section one time. Click on the link to open up that section. That's where we get our cross list button in the upper right-hand corner. Click cross list to this section. If you don't see this, it's because you didn't go to settings, sections, click on the link, click on and open the section up. Cross list the section. And the area where it says enter course ID, that's where we will paste in or type in the course ID. Look to make sure there's no extra spaces. I'm good. If there's an extra space, get rid of that space. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Click out of the box, and then, that class will load. Exciting. Click the blue button, cross list this section. Boom. It's gone. It's not gone. The section was just moved to that other master class. So here's what I do, right? I'm going to work my way down these tabs. So I finished that middle tab for me. I'll just X out of it. I'm done with it. Doesn't exist the way that it used to, right? Because it's in that master class. All right, still have that SIS ID number copied. Let's go to the next class that we want to cross list. We'll click on settings, click on sections, click on that link. What does that mean? I'm on sections and I'm going to click on the link. I'm going to open the section. We don't type anything into this little area, click add section. No, open the link. That's how we get that cross list this section button in the upper right hand corner. Just like last time, we'll paste in our SIS ID number, ensuring that we have no spaces anywhere. And then we'll click cross-list this section again. Now I only have 2 sections that I'm cross-listing into my master one. So I'm finished. You might have more. Give me a thumbs up, and so take a moment and do that. Give me a thumbs up if you've cross-listed your sections or you feel like you have the information to do it. Yeah, all right. 2 people, not 3 people. Okay, here we go. It's happening. I can verify. So notice all I have is just one tab. It's the master tab now, right? I got rid of the other ones. That's my system, by the way, for doing this because I get really confused. It took me a long time to figure out like to juggle all of this stuff, and I figured out I'm just gonna line them all up, work my way down those tabs, and then go back to my master class. I'll click refresh, and you'll see now I did it correctly if my master class section and then all of those other ones are now present. All right. Pretty cool stuff, yes? All right. And if not, if you didn't do that, that's fine. But like I said, don't do it in the middle of the semester. You'll want to do it right now or not at all. And if you're not doing it, then let me know because I'll sell you on it. Look at this. Let me show you this, folks. I have this resource available to you. Okay, so this has got a lot of the stuff that we're going over here today. Got this little resource for you. So if you're like, what? I've given you this extra slide deck that has all of the instructions. I kind of handhold you and bring you through the process. Right now, I'm recording this session. I mentioned that before. What I do is I take the transcript from what we talk about here today. I put it into a gem that I made, and I turn it into a one-pager takeaway that I'll email to all of you, along with that will include not only the tips that we're talking about here today, but also the link to this, the link to the video recording, and the link to the slide decks. All right. Fun stuff. Or is it? It is. All right. Let's get into course settings. So we finish up cross-listing. Let's do some course settings. So from our class, just like we were in the sections area of settings, now let's click on settings. Go back to settings, click on course details, and just real quick, let's look at some of these details. Don't change the name of the class. You don't want to do that because it won't sync properly. Don't change the participation or the term. All of that's set up by the district. Yeah, leave it alone. I do like to do this, like the visibility of some of the items. Visibility of course, scrolling down on the settings a little bit, you'll see visibility. I do keep it at course because that means the students enrolled in the course will be able to see the stuff. If I change this to institution, anyone in Clark County can see it. If I change it to public, anyone can see it. If I send a link out, I don't want that. I'll keep it course. But what I do is I click on customize and I make it so that the syllabus is available to parents, So I change the syllabus visibility to public, and then that's the only kind of change I make. I don't know. I don't think the format changes anything, but I always make this blended. Unless you're NVLA, then it would be online, right? What is the other option? It says on campus. Oh, I don't mind that. Make it on campus. I think that's new. All right. I use announcements regularly. I already mentioned that right at the top. So I want to make sure that my announcements show up on the course homepage, right? I want the learning quick to the learn. The kids got to get to the learning as fast as possible. So as soon as they log into my class, boom, they can see up to the last 5 announcements. So I change that from 3, the default, to 5. I don't allow students to create discussion topics. That's not how I use discussion posts. Maybe you do, leave it or don't. I also take this away. I don't want students to edit or delete because what happens is that I will set up a discussion post so that the kids can't see answers until they themselves have like replied to it. So what kids will do is they'll put in the letter A, click reply, look at all the answers from their classmates, go back to edits, and then fix it, right? So If they do that, you just say reply to your original post, and we'll figure that out in the gradebook later. So I uncheck let students edit or delete their own discussion replies. You got to live with what you said. All right, and then I don't hide totals in student grade summaries. If you're not going to have grades turned on for students, you might want to hide that. If your grades, like an elementary teacher, if your grades in Canvas do not match the grades in Infinite Campus, hide grade totals. But if you're like me and every single assignment in Canvas is also in Infinite Campus and those grades and everything's weighted properly, then I'm not going to hide that because I want to have the students use the what if feature to be able to see, oh, if I turn this in, I'm going to get a B instead of that C. My parents are going to be so happy. All right, we'll click update course details at the bottom. Then let's scroll back up to the top. We were just on course details. Now let's click on navigation. I don't know why they do this. Again, I'm not in charge. If I was in charge, it wouldn't be like this. But look at all of these courses. This is like one of my biggest pet peeves is when I go into a class and I see all of these course navigation links, like parchment badges. Oh, okay. Let me start using that. Who knows what that is? Maybe some of you do, and I don't want to offend anybody, but if I'm not a math teacher, I don't need to have big ideas math there. If I don't even use that curriculum, I don't need it, right? So what I'm going to do is either click on that vertical ellipsis, those three dots, to disable, or easier, I can start to move these down. I agree, Brenda. It's so true. Get quick to the learning, right? Think about teenagers. They don't need sound trap. Somebody told me yesterday that that's a good way to do some podcasts, but if you're not going to do a podcast, get rid of it. What I do is I keep anything that references grades or points. So you do it, I'll probably leave. That's a teacher-facing tool. Leave GradeSync, but writable, unless I'm an ELA teacher, might get rid of that. Get rid of the stuff that doesn't. So I'm hoping that you guys are following along on your own. Get rid of the things that don't reference grades. Keep it simple. Item banks, no. Leave accessibility. We'll touch on that towards the end. Modules, that holds things that reference grades. In fact, I feel like modules are pretty important. I'll pull that up to the top so I can reorder these two. Quizzes, reference points, rubrics, I'm going to disable it. I don't want I can add a rubric to individual assignments. The kids don't really need to access all of them, only the one that's associated with my assignment, if I'm going to use one. I get rid of files. Pages. I don't know. I leave people. I don't mind the kids like knowing their names of the other people in the class. Grades reference grades, so I'll leave that. Discussion posts can add and earn points. Same with assignments. I definitely use announcements. This Ignite AI search is a way for students to be able to search for items that might be in your Canvas class. I'll leave that too. At the bottom, once you're happy with your navigation, click Save. And then look how gorgeous that course navigation looks. That's the first thing I look at. When I look at somebody's class, I'm like, all right, do we care about course navigation? I don't judge, though. I really do, I promise. All right, or do I? I'm joking. I don't, of course not. All right, folks, we did course navigation. Oh, how are we only on 2 items? Let's do assignment groups. We got to get through this. We got 32 minutes left. Now, earlier I had you create a formative and summative assessment category in Infinite Campus. We're going to sync some assignment groups with those categories that we already set up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll have to set up those categories in Infinite Campus later. And then you can access the recording or that resource I gave you to figure it out. From your course navigation, we're going to click on assignments. This is my other pet peeve, is when we don't have a proper understanding of assignments. What happens is that we start to import materials from online, from Commons, And when we copy a course, it brings in all of the assignment groups too. And so what starts to happen is we start to accumulate all of these assignment groups. And to make it even more confusing, they're all called assignments. Oh my gosh, no. We need 5 assignment groups. One will be called Q1 formative, Q1 summative, Q2 formative, Q2 summative, and then one for the semester final. So if you're looking at a brand new class and you only have one assignment, assignment group, let's actually edit the first one. So from the little gray bar here, the gray rectangle, we'll click on that vertical ellipsis on the right-hand side. We'll choose edit. Let's change the name of the standard assignments to Q1 formative. And then we're going to make 4 more. Notice I can add additional groups by clicking on plus group. There's a button at the top, right? Let's add a Q1 summative. And you can assume then that all of your Q1 formative assessments will go into that Q1 formative group. All of your Q1 summatives will go into that Q1 summative group. Let's make a couple more. Let's worry about Q2. If you're making one called daily participation, you're doing it wrong. That's not an actual group. Talk to your supervisor about this, right? It's either formative or summative. And I don't think that we can give points for participation. All right, I'm going to make 1/5 final group. This one will be called semester 1 final. Now, I should mention, there's some elementary teachers on the line right now. You might not be on the quarter system, right? You might want to just have formative and summative because you're on the semester group, right? Or the semester system. So I should have mentioned that at the start. I apologize. All right, if you made too many, or if you started to put in Q3 and Q4, no, delete them. You can do the same. You can delete them by clicking on the same area where we edited earlier. All right, so I'm going to give you another moment here. I need a volunteer to help me, though, to share their screen. All right, I need one person out there that has created their formative and summative assessments in Infinite Campus, and 2, have 5 different assignment groups. Who would like to do that? I can't show you this next part. We're going to sync these. I can't show you this part because I don't have sections in my Infinite Campus. So who would like to do it? We're going to wait. We got 28 minutes. Stacy, share that screen, please. From the Meet, click on that rectangle with the arrow pointing up. Choose the tab that's where your Canvas class is.
Hi guys, you might have to talk me through this.
Of course, yeah.
All right, where did you say I need to share?
So from the Meet, choose that rectangle with the arrow pointing up. Click on that.
From the where?
Are you looking at the Meet? Do you see me in my screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I'm looking at the other screen. All right. So click on you.
Click on the rectangle that has an arrow pointing up. It's to the left of the smiley face at the bottom.
Oh, there it is.
Then select the tab.
Yep. And
like share or present now or something like that. If there's
it's giving me options here because I have several things open. So you just need the Canvas.
The tab that has Canvas in it. Yep.
Okay, there we go.
The Canvas. Here we go.
How's that?
Bingo. That'll do. Oh, it's gorgeous. I see Q3 in there. We don't have Q3. You've got separate classes for that. You'll get those in December. Don't worry about it. So scroll back up.
Okay.
Scroll back up. Next to that blue button that says plus assignments, click on the vertical ellipsis. Don't click plus assign. Yeah, click that one. Good. Click sync SIS categories. Lovely. Canvas is talking to Infinite Campus. And let's open up. Don't worry about Q3, Q4. That's a separate process. Let's expand Q1 though, if that makes sense. There you go. Associate your SIS, this assignment group with your SIS category. There you go. Choose, I guess this is your formative, so choose formative. There you go. Let's do that same thing with summative, with your Q1 summatives, your Q2s as well. Now, I want to mention, if you've cross-listed your classes, you're going to have 4, 5, 3 of these drop-downs for each one of these. Let me say this again while we watch Stacy do this. As she's so think about it. If you're going to cross list later, like in a couple days, and you're doing this process now, you have to go back and sync those cross listed sections. So you'll have to repeat this process. Yeah, and then I would delete. So then let's do semester 1 final. I love how there's yeah, there you go. You got it. There's 2 like bars to do. Yeah, there you go. And make that a summative. Actually, doesn't matter. It can be either one of those, but I like summative. Click sync categories. Make sure you do that part. And then you're done. Let's click out of that or click on LX. Yeah. Give me a nice refresh on your Canvas page, please. You're doing great. There it is. You know that you've synced them properly if you see that chain link next to the names of those assignment groups. Here's what I would suggest you do. You're gonna need to do this process for quarter 3 and 4. You're gonna have brand new Canvas section, brand new Canvas courses. So don't confuse yourself. Get rid of Q3 and Q4. Get rid of those extra assignment groups. They're not needed in this one. You'll have to do this whole process again in January, which is to say January. I know how to say the word. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm going to take over. Nice job. Hey, that was great. I appreciate you. That was awesome. Well done, Stacy. Let me get a round of applause.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was great. Perfection. And now you're done. Ooh, nice. Are you going to cross list?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to cross list?
I've cross-listed. This particular one didn't have another section, but my other ones are cross-listed.
Just know that if you cross-list after you've synced, you'll have to do this process again, okay? And I have those instructions for you, and I'll give you guys the like written instruction, okay? Plus this recording that we just went over with Stacy. Nice job, Stacy.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, I appreciate you. All right, hey, we're getting through these things somehow. All right, let's do assignment group weighting. So same area where we synced our categories. We'll click on that vertical ellipsis next to the right of that plus assignment, that blue button. I see Julie and Stacy. If you guys want, I'm going to mute you. I do see the microphone. You might want to you never know. All right, so let's click on that vertical ellipsis next to that blue plus assignment button. And this time we're going to click on assignment group weights. We'll weight final grade based on assignment groups. And since we're just dealing with quarter 1, we're going to type in, what is it, 20% for formative, 80% for summative. Once we get into quarter 2 in October or something, you'll want to go back in and like do the next step, right? Do 20/80 for your Q2 formatives and summatives. If you want to do a final calculation, it gets a little dicier here when we start to deal with semester 1 final, and I feel like it's a little too much here. But think about it. Semester final is where, so once you start to get into December and you want students to be able to use the what if tool, what will happen to my semester grade? 20% is our final. And since collectively quarter 1 formative and summative is worth 40%, 40% times 20% is 8%. This will be the breakdown in December. So 80%, 40% of 80% is 32%. Same thing here for quarter two. Make sure everything adds up to 100%, and boom, take a screenshot of that. That's what you'll want to do when students start to talk about their semester grades for those secondary folks out there. That will be the breakdown if you are, if you're what? If you're an 80-20 split. All right. Little extra math there. If you're the 1090 out there, right? 10% of 40% is 4. And what is this? 90% of 40% is 36. That's would be the breakdown for a 90-10 school. All right, I'll just click save and we're done with it. Cool. All right, folks, let's talk about GradeSync from the course navigation. Hopefully you did not hide this link because it is important. It's only teacher facing. I want you to choose GradeSync, please, from the course navigation. If it's missing, turn it back on, enable it from the settings. We'll click on GradeSync. Choose Utilities. Versus history. Every time you get a GradeSync, you'll start to see you accumulate the time that it happened and the person that initiated. Let's click on Utilities. And I want to turn on Nightly Sync. So this will happen every 2 in the morning of every night. If there are new assignments and or new grades in your grade book, those grades will automatically be sent to Infinite Campus when we have Nightly Sync turned on. I highly suggest you do this. There are ways to manually send the grades as well from Canvas to Infinite Campus, and that can be found from the speed grader, from the grade book, I should say. So now let's click on the grades link in the course navigation, and we'll just point out where that is. Notice in the upper right-hand corner is where I have that sync button. We click sync to SIS, and if we've properly synced our assignment groups with Infinite Campus, we can send anything manually over to Infinite Campus. One note, you'll still have to classify, like finalize that sync. So you still have to go into campus.ccsd.net and then make sure that those assignments are going into the correct categories. So there's an extra step there, but I don't have Infinite Campus. You'll see that process though. All right, any questions so far? I know we're probably getting to the point where it's like, oh my God, what? You've been talking for 42 minutes, and we're only 5 items in. All right, 18 minutes. Let's do this, folks. So I'll just point out the curriculum hub. Look, so we've been talking about the course navigation, right? You also have the global navigation. That's that blue, purple bar on the left-hand side. And notice that one of the items here is the curriculum hub. This is where all of your course scopes and goals are, your standards. A lot of classes have pacing guides as well and instructional resources. You can access the hub directly from the global navigation or using the link I just put into the chat. I always use this little area here. Notice there's 434 courses that Clark County School District schools teach in some form. You can search for the class really fast by typing in a couple of letters of it. There's biology, for example. I open it up. And boom, I now have everything that I would need to understand what I have to do for the class. All right, just going to point that out. Let's do this. Click on this link, put that in the chat. In the upper right-hand corner, we're going to click on Use Template. This will force a copy of this copy and pastable syllabus into your drive. Go through it, make it your own, right? I kind of just gave you the bare bones basic minimum here. If you don't use the word unit for your units, then change it. Put your name, your email, phone number, if you do office hours, all that good stuff. There's where the course scope and goals can be. You can find that information from the Curriculum Hub. Make this your own. I don't know if there's an AI policy. There might be in this one. If not, use AI to help you come up with that AI policy, I suppose. Take a look. Once you've finalized this, let's copy it. We'll come over yonder to that class we've been working with. Let me find it though. So take a look, make a copy of that copy and pastable syllabus. Let's open up one of our classes we've been dealing with. There it is. Good. And then from the course navigation, let's choose syllabus. If this is one of those items that you hid, highly suggest you don't hide this one, right? Because this is what they do in college. But make the syllabus really obvious to all students. Paste in your finished work, click update syllabus, and boom, now you've got all the information students can now start to reference right there. As you start to create assignments, if you scroll down to the bottom of your syllabus in Canvas, that course summary area, maybe you're looking at my screen, this is where all of those assignments and their due dates will start to pop up too. So like a true syllabus here, not only do I have all the policies and my contact information, there's also going to be a list of assignments in this area as well. Let's talk about homepage. I got 14 minutes left. I think I can pull this off, folks. We got to do this fast, though. All right, this is a little confusing here. Let's click on Home. And notice you've got some options over there. Import existing content. Look at this. One of the links here is choose homepage. Let's do that. Bingo. This is my personal preference. When I taught with my class I was showing you guys in the beginning of today's session, I want my students to be able to get to the learning as fast as possible. I'm not going to put my contact information onto a front page. The reason why is because it's on the syllabus. Kids need to reference it. So I actually just leave it on course modules, which is kind of wild, right? Kids, when they log in, boom, they've got those announcements. Remember that? And then all of the modules. And otherwise, you have to go click on modules, go to the thing, and too many clicks. There's a barrier to learning, right? So course modules, least amount of barriers, I believe. Some of you might work at a school where you have to have that front page, and they've never taken my class, your supervisors. So we have to make a page. We're going to do this real fast, folks, because I'm afraid that we're going to run out of time. So I'll click on front page must be set first. Gotta love Canvas for making this the most confusing thing in the world. Let's click plus new page. Just label this home. Yes. Put in your information there if you want. Put in the memoji of you pointing to the chalkboard. And then we'll click. We have to publish this page. If we've published it, I will select that. This is confusing, all right? So many steps. Why does it have to be like this? Well, again, I'm not in charge. Click on that vertical ellipsis in the upper right-hand corner. We'll choose use as front page. Why it doesn't say use as home page, who knows? But let's use as front page. And now we've got to select, now that we have created that page, we now have to select it again. So remember from the home, we'll choose front page or choose home page. Now that we've set a page as our home page, we'll choose that. And now all of those course modules, the students will now have to click extra buttons to access. And now you have whatever you might have on your front page. All right. Fun. Or is it? Just kidding. All right. All right. I feel like we got 11 minutes. We might be able to pull this off fast. So if you have set a front page, now we've got to click on modules. Let's do that now. Find your modules, please, in the course navigation. Let's click Create New Module, or click on plus module, that blue button in the upper right-hand corner. So from our class, we'll click on modules. We'll choose that blue button, plus module. Let's just label it sample. We can delete it later. Add it. Let me show you the Google Assignment LTI 1.3 tool. This is an external tool. It's a submission type that allows you to create a copy of a slide deck or a Google Doc for all of your students. And it makes it so that they can edit them too. So if you created a new module, let's click on that plus sign in that module, right? So look at that gray rectangle, look towards the right, there's a plus sign. Click that plus sign. Let's work from the top down on this dropout. This pop-up menu, pop-up that we're looking at. If I change that drop-down menu, I can create a new quiz for sure. I can add page of content, but I would just want to keep it assignments. We'll choose create assignment, label it. Let's just call it Sam. Actually, I'm going to call it Google LTI. Choose add item, then open the assignment. Knowing that I'm giving you this, if I'm going too fast, I know I am for you guys out there. I'm so sorry. I will give you this recording. So we've opened the assignment. We'll choose edit. Click on edit. But this is an important tool that I don't think a lot of us use. Worry about the points later. I always just made it 10 points. We can choose that assignment group. This is a formative for quarter one, so I'll do it that way. And then direct your attention to the submission type. Maybe you're just looking at my screen at this point. I'll choose and change from no submission. I'll go to external tool. Let's find that external tool. It's called Google Assignments LTI 1.3. Scroll about halfway down. First time I do this, I've got to link my drive, which allows me to do that. Take a look at what I'm looking at, folks. I think you only have to do that the first time, and now you're set. And now I can attach, let's say I have a doc in there that's got, it's like a worksheet basically, right? Maybe it's the copy and pastable syllabus. We'll just choose that. You can also choose like a slide deck, make a copy of it for each student. So I'll click add, turn on plagiarism check. I always kept it Canvas speed grader as the way to grade this assignment. I feel like the Google assignment grading option takes too long. I like the speed grader. And then notice that each student will get a copy of this. So when I click create, I've just added an assignment. Now the kids don't have to click make a copy, attach it. It's less confusing for them because you've made the copy for them. All right. And then choose save if you're there with me, folks. And then as students start to open up this page, the system will automatically create that new copy of it. And so when your kids say, I don't have a copy of it, you'll know the reason why, because they never opened the assignment page. Once they do, the doc will show up. Julie, these steps are not inside the slide deck, just because the slide deck, that other one that I showed you, is a little bit more foundational. But like I said, I'll give you this assignment. What am I saying? I'll give you this recording. All right, so yeah, all of those docs will start to show up. What I loved about it is that I can, with my new line screen, I can click on this, pull up my Canvas class. I can show student work really easily, give feedback as everyone's in class looking at that, because the student doesn't own this. You both are co-owners of the documents, and that's what I love about it. Okay. Yeah, accessibility is real fast. Take a look at the bottom, course navigation. This is a new feature. It's actually really awesome. There was an update to the Americans with Disability Act that gave us further guidance as to what our online websites, our online courses should look like, how they can be more accessible to our students that might use screen readers, for example. And so Canvas, the people that in Structure, the people that make Canvas came up with this new tool. It's called accessibility. Don't hide it. It's a teacher-facing tool. We'll click Scan Course, and this will flag any problem that I might have. Right now, there's no issues because there's nothing in this class. But right, if an issue pops up, a little drop out menu or pop-up menu will help me fix those issues. Definitely worth a try. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory as well. Yeah, we were required to do this last year, and so now you can continue to, I think a little easier. I think last year we were using You Do It, this tool in your course navigation. I'm pointing to it right now. I like this accessibility one because it's a lot easier to use. You just click the button, and then if there are issues, it'll flag them red. You can click on it, fix them very easily. Now, this accessibility feature doesn't like follow links. So if you have a slide deck that's inaccessible to students, it won't flag that. You've got to make it accessible on your own. I think I need to do a session on accessibility here coming forward. Yeah, if you're not going to plan to use You Do It, you can definitely hide it. But that one is also teacher facing. I'm pretty sure it's teacher facing only. All right, folks. Let me just click View as Student. And yeah, You Do It is not there as in the student view. So you don't have to get rid of it. All right, last thing that we have to do, and don't do this right now, but is to publish the course. We can do this from the home. So from the course navigation, I'll click on Home. And then in the upper right-hand corner, notice that the course status is likely unpublished. Once I'm ready to go, you'll want to publish that class. And if next Monday you're having students look at your syllabus on Canvas or something like that, and they say, I can't access it, it's because the class isn't published. Make sure that it's published. Believe it or not, oh my God, how do we do all of this? Any questions? I still got this bonus, but we're going to do it offline after the session here so that it won't, if you don't want to know, if I've given you too much already, then, you don't have to do it. But so any questions, folks?